This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is a friend and mentor and one of the most successful contrarian speculators in the resource space, none other than Mr. Jeff Phillips. Jeff, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Gerardo. Thank you for having me.
Well, listen, couldn't have better timing. Gold is up $115. Silver is up over 4%. Gold over 4,100, silver over $50. You and I had the pleasure of catching up at the New Orleans Investment Conference. I would love to hear your take on it. You actually presented and were on a panel, which is not the usual Jeff Phillips MO. What was your take of the conference? What'd you think?
Oh, I'm still recovering, Gerardo. It was a long week, but overall, the conference was probably one of the best conferences experiences for me. Like you said, I don't speak on a lot of panels. I agreed. Brian London and I have been friends for a long time, so I agreed to speak on a couple of panels and lead a tour. Got to meet a lot of great people. Some of those people are new to the space, which is always a good thing to see. What I saw was a lot of companies doing good stuff. Obviously, money's being raised. What I found kind of ironic, and I spoke on my panels and on several of my floor tours, was people tended to be, asking, it was the last couple of weeks, I guess, I haven't really noticed it that much, but, a lot of people are concerned that the markets in the resource sector may have topped. Gold had come back and some of their stock prices they owned, and they seemed overly worried to me. And my point I made to a lot of those people is you've just had a fantastic run in the resource sector. It's very healthy to have a pullback, and this was a very minor pullback. I expected it to last a little bit longer, but of course today we're doing an interview after New Orleans, and gold is up $100 an ounce. I do not invest in these stocks based on what I think the underlying commodity prices are going to do in a week or 4 weeks. I'm investing in companies that I believe can continue to execute and increase the value of their assets. So it was a great conference, really enjoyed it. But again, it's always funny when someone asks, everybody's worried about a top in a market. Well, when they're all worried about that, I most certainly know it's not a top.
No, listen, I couldn't agree with you more. I thought I shared similar sentiments and thought the conference was as busy and upbeat as I had seen it in quite some time. And again, I have to agree with you 100%. It was it made my contrarian heart smile how often I was asked whether I thought this was the top, which, as you mentioned, absolutely leads me to believe that this is definitely not the top. Listen, there were a lot of great companies there, and there are a lot of great companies doing work. You and I have seen, you've seen bull markets in the past. I've only been around 16 years, and I saw a mini bull market in the precious metal space in 2010. And what followed after that was the misallocation of a lot of capital. This go round, I'm sure a lot of capital will be misallocated, but there are a lot of quality companies doing some quality exploration, a whole heck of a lot more than what I saw the last go around. Thoughts on companies that you like, thoughts on things or companies that stood out at the conference?
Yeah, in full disclaimer, I had probably 7 or 8 companies I'm a large shareholder in there at the conference. I'm also a consult for those companies. I can talk to a few of those companies, realize this isn't investment advice. It's just what I'm doing. I did talk about several of those on stage. And again, maybe we can do a follow-up interview. Maybe I'll do 2 or 3 of those companies that I'm involved with that I like and why I like them. And maybe we can do a follow-up interview on several of the other companies so we don't make this interview too long. Would that be okay?
Absolutely. No. I would absolutely love that.
Yeah, so we'll stick with a sort of a theme outside of just general exploration. So I'll focus on royalty and prospect generators that I'm involved in. So, the company that comes to mind off the top of my head is Empress Royalty, which is a streaming company. All of their revenue comes from gold and silver, which is, streaming and royalty companies can have different revenue from different models. But Alexandra, who is the CEO and just one of the sharpest people in the business, if you ever get a chance to talk to her at a conference, definitely talk to her. And her corporate development person, Michelle Borromeo, did a great job. Their booth was crowded the whole time. She's executed in the last 4.5 years, taking a company from scratch to cash flow positive. Her revenue is growing, obviously, because it's gold and silver focused. She plays her cards very close to her chest, like you should do. But I think she's been executing. It wouldn't surprise me to see some more deals, not in the too distant future. And consequently, the stock is one of the smaller streaming profitable companies. There's other streaming companies that aren't profitable and royalty companies, but this is a profitable company. I see a lot of upside there. And with the gold price today, they're hitting a new 52-week high, which, my mentor, Jim Dines, always used to tell me, look, don't think. So, I think gold and silver are going higher. So Empress Royalty, again, a company that's executed, and I believe, they have to continue to execute. I believe they will. So that's a royalty and streaming company, which is one of the better models in the investing in the junior resource space. And then another model is the prospect generator model, really pioneered by Rick Rule, who we all know and is a legend in the business. But, Rick often says a prospect generator is a company that, you're farming out your projects to other companies to spend their money drilling those. You're giving up a piece of those projects, but you're also not diluting your shareholders. Therefore, you have a tighter share structure, which, as you know, is very important to me. So a couple of the companies that I've recently financed, and Rick Rule also financed, it came into the financing with me. We were the lead orders, was a company, one is called Kincora Copper that was at the New Orleans Investment Conference, run by Sam Spring, Australian. All of their projects, except for one, is in Mongolia, but most of them are the Macquarie Arc of Australia. If you look at their technical team, it's the people who put the big discoveries together for, I'm trying to think who Newmont bought. Who was that, Gerardo?
The recent transaction?
Yeah, no, they bought the Australian company, the producer. I can't think. I want to say it's not Oceana Gold. It's
Goldfields?
Anyway, the
Newcrest.
I'm sorry?
Newcrest.
Newcrest. There it is. I was drawing a blank after a long week. So
it was a long week.
The technical team behind Kincora are the guys who discovered Cadia and several other major deposits in major producing companies now. So Kincora has, multiple joint venture partners drilling projects in Australia. They just finished drilling a project with Anglo, the major producer. They're starting another project here where they'll be drilling there shortly with other people's money. It's an extremely tight share structure with 42 million shares out. 30% of those is owned by insiders and management. Another 20% is owned by, people like yourself, Rick Rule, myself, Bob Bishop, Brian London, who ran the conference, and we're all locked up for a year at our own request. I'm looking for them to make a big discovery. And again, they're not going to be diluting their shareholders unnecessarily drilling, which is a tough business. They've got majors doing that for them. So I like Kincora. And another prospect generator that was there is Headwater Gold. Headwater Gold, same model, prospect generator, run by Caleb. Caleb is a young, up and coming, worked for the majors geologist. He's put an incredible land package together in mostly Nevada, a couple projects in Idaho. Centerra Gold, the producer, owns 9% of the company. Newmont owns 4.5%, I think. Newmont and Oceana Gold are separately joint venture on a couple projects in their portfolio. Both of those joint ventures are seeing drilling right now. Caleb was getting updates while we were in New Orleans. I think he'll continue to execute and have other joint venture partners. And again, that's another prospect generator that you don't have to worry as much about dilution. And, you've got lots of drilling going on. So Kincora and Headwater are great prospect generators. Then, of course, Empress is the streaming royalty company. And again, I own a lot of shares in those companies, and I consult for them on making sure that they keep a good share structure and they have the right people involved. So there you have it.
No, well said. Before you leave, I gotta get your take on where you think we are using the baseball analogy. What inning do you think this junior bull market is in, as it relates to the junior equities? Not so much the precious metals price, because those are two different things, right?
Yeah, well, it's a complicated question. First off, the precious metals prices have moved quite well, and they tend to move first. And then you see the producers and the big producers move second and start to really move up, and we've seen that. Then you start to see your one mine companies that are mining from one asset, and they start to move up, and that's starting to happen now. You're probably in the third inning, maybe fourth inning, I don't know, somewhere in there. But what you tend to see in a market like this is when you get to the end of a bull market, you tend to see the explorers and the developers really move, and when they move, they really move. And I don't mean just doubling and then worrying about them pulling back 10% like everybody was at the show.
Right.
I mean, they really move. It's like, you're kind of dumbfounded. So I think we're not even there yet. That being said, these explorers and developers aren't even being priced at $3,000 gold. Oh, hell, maybe $2,700 gold. They haven't moved with the gold price, and that's going to come. That being said, you will have a rain delay in baseball terms where something goes wrong with the overall financial markets in this overall bull market in the resource sector, and it will be more scary than what happened over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but at the end of the day, this bull market's going to see these stocks a lot higher when it ends.
Listen, exciting times, historic times, interesting times for sure. Jeff, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to having you back on and doing it again soon.
Look forward to it, Gerardo. Thank you for having me.
Cheers. Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.